y'all, it's Risa with another speed build. So this time, I had a lot of fun, and I found this home plan from 1916. So I was on Facebook, and I found this, and the person who posted it actually did not do it correctly, if that makes sense. They claimed it was from the 30s, and like how much it would cost in today's money and everything. And it was all wrong. So I ended up looking it up. I found the home plan on a lovely website that's called, what was it called? It's like Antique Homes or something like that. It's an awesome website, and if you are into vintage home plans, it is a great place for you to find it. It is antiquehomestyle.com. And it has a bunch of plans from houses that came from catalogs for the most part. This house itself, it came from a Sears catalog in 1916, and I love it. Honestly, I think this is fantastic. It only cost you $1,092. Sorry, I didn't have the thing up anymore. But it cost $1,092 for the entire house, so the plans and the supplies to make it, which I think is awesome. Fantastic. I really wished that you could get something like that nowadays, but you can't. So that's okay. I had a lot of fun with this. I ended up doing some, research. I couldn't remember the word for research. That's okay. It's Sunday, so I'm allowed to be bad at life. So the plans that I found, they were really cool, and they had a picture of what it looked like from the outside, and they had a floor plan, so I pretty much could just do what I needed to do, and it ended up being a lot of fun. I actually would like to do more of these. Maybe like a series of them would be kind of fun. I just had a lot of fun using this antique home plan. Like, legit, it was just really cool. I highly recommend doing it, if anyone else is into that kind of thing. They have a lot of different home plans. I think they start in like 1910 or 1908, and then they go on until, I think the later ones are from the 40s. I'm pretty sure that's when catalog homes probably went out of style. I love it. So this house has 3 closets and a pantry. I ended up messing around with those because in The Sims, it's just not something you can really do. You know what I mean? It just takes up space that you could use for other things. And stairs are definitely bulkier in The Sims than they are in real life. So this like 3rd bedroom in like the right corner, I had to make it an interesting shape to work because it just didn't otherwise. And I got rid of the closets in those 2 rooms because, one, it's kind of weird that the closet is what has the window to the the front of the house. That's a little weird. I understand why they did it, because it makes a lot more sense, but I still kind of wish that they hadn't. So I just got rid of them, because it just didn't, for me, it didn't make sense. I kept the walk-in closet for the master bedroom. The master bedroom is super cool and also super weird. It's just a little weird, you know? But I'm into it. But I'm definitely into the entire, like, how do I describe it? It has like this entryway, and then from that entryway, like a mini, it's like it has its own mini hallway where you have the entryway that leads to the bedroom, and then you have the entryway that also has a door to the closet, which is like a really big walk-in closet. So I think that's kind of crazy for the time, you know what I mean? It's not super, like, I don't know. It just feels weird to me, but that's because I just don't know enough about homes from this time period, I guess. Which is fine, you know? It ends up, because I ended up doing more research, it ended up being, I think, a cooler house after all of that. I wanted to make it look as, like, closest to the floor plan and the, like, the view from the outside as possible, which I think I kind of did, other than having to get rid of those closets. I did a pretty good job, I think, of doing it on the outside. I wasn't sure what that outside was. I thought maybe it was brick, but the fact that it goes all the way up and there's like this foundation that isn't brick made me think it probably was shingles. My husband helped me figure that out though, so I went over to him and I was like, "Do you think this is brick?" And he's like, "What?" Because he was kind of in the middle of something, but you know, whatever. But I had a lot of fun doing like all of the outside stuff. And I really wanted this to be a starter home because it was so cheap. In today's money, it would be something like $27,000 to make this house. If you did it like, if just like 1092 in 1916 is worth $27,000 in 2020. That's what I'm trying to say. But I liked that. I actually ended up using the Spa Day, the Spa Day minimal slats for the outside because it came in like a suitably dark color and they don't have like a dark brown in a good dark brown. So I went with that. I was kind of wondering, I almost went with the dark blue color in that because I think that would have been nice, but it just wasn't quite right, I feel. I'm not quite sure though, because I don't really know too much about like what I did some research, but I'm still not like an expert in what houses were like in 1916. So I'm just not quite sure. But I did do some research for when I was furnishing it, which you'll see in a little bit. I really wanted to make it a starter home, so I tried. So I really only wanted to use cheaper like wall coverings. But I looked up a bunch of things. I change it in a little bit from this crown molding one. I change it to the paneling from Parenthood. That's the one. Because I did a bunch of like looking up interiors for homes, like craftsman homes in 1916. And almost all of them had wood paneling on the walls. So I was like, yes, this is necessary to do. I think it's really interesting that there aren't any windows in the dining room on the back, like looking out to the porch. But it's because there was a built-in buffet there, because that was a huge thing in, that was a pretty big thing in, like, this craftsman style. Apparently this is when they started not really using clutter anymore. Like in Victorian homes and stuff like that, you get a lot of clutter going on. You get a lot of just collecting things to collect things, and that was out of style at this point. So we're not completely in minimalism like we get in the 1920s in home design, which is kind of fun. I like Art Deco builds are often very minimalist, which I think is fun, but in this case, we're not quite there, but we're starting to get there. And I think that's kind of fun. Apparently at the time, people were encouraged to, like, if they really wanted to satisfy their collecting instincts, right? They could, what was being encouraged to collect is stuff like Asian designs, that kind of stuff. So like carpets and stuff like that. Or like the big style at the time was to collect like exotic things. So we're talking like the how do you put it? Just like the Asian inspired art and stuff like that, or like literally Asian art. Specifically Chinese was the big thing at this time. And also what was amazingly referred to as Indian baskets in the things I was reading. So they mean Native American. They don't mean actual Indian. I was doing some like looking up. So the kind of baskets that you would find from like indigenous sellers is kind of what I was going for. I decided in the bedrooms to try to utilize that, what would have been a closet, by putting a dresser there. So I tried that, but this room in the bottom right corner, it's not a great shape because of how the stairs have to be in The Sims. Because in real life, you can have flooring above the bottom of your stairs. You don't need to have it not there, but this is The Sims, so I had to make do. There's also that pantry there, which I didn't fill with anything because I was trying to keep this cheap enough to use as a starter home. But I couldn't keep it a starter home like for one person, but there are 3 bedrooms, so it is a starter home for 3 people or more, which is kind of all I really wanted to do, so I did that. I tried to make things look vaguely time period appropriate, but I really couldn't for a starter home budget, if that makes any sense. I wanted to do here's where you can tell I just did a bunch of research because I go through and I change a bunch of stuff here. I wanted to make things look as authentic as possible, but with a starter home budget, you just can't. So I kind of did some things different than others, but I think it ended up being okay. I really wanted a fireplace because on the outside, it looked like there was a chimney. And in pretty much every interior I could find for a home of this style, they had, like, a fireplace. So I was trying to decide if I wanted, like, the Discovery University fireplace, which looks just a little too Victorian for what I was going for. But the fireplace from Eco Lifestyle, that's the one, was just too modern looking. I really wish it wasn't. I wish it was very like wood burning stove looking. That would be awesome. But it's not, so that's what we get. I'm okay with that, the Discovery University one. I think it ends up looking nice, to be honest. And I like using those tongs from Perfect Patio stuff to like stand in for like fireplace tools. I tried to go for a rug that felt more Asian inspired, but I just couldn't find one that was like affordable for this house, so instead I did that base game one, and I don't like that one, but it's what I had. I also wanted to add art and everything, but we just didn't have art budget. We really didn't have a curtain budget, even though curtains seem to be very important in these style houses. I went for the Parenthood counters because they were not the cheapest, and they looked kind of appropriate, but they're way more mid-century modern, and I understand that, but they're cheap enough, is kind of how it goes. So, you know, sometimes you just have to make things cheap enough, and not completely accurate, because I just figured since it was such a cheap home, like, to begin with, it would be important for me to make it cheap enough to be a starter home in The Sims, at least for a family. So I'm coming to the end of the video. I do a little bit of landscaping because I didn't want to just make it completely plain, but not very much landscaping, to be quite honest. If you like this video, you can please leave me a big old thumbs up and a comment telling me what decade house you'd like me to build next, because I love doing this kind of thing. If you want to download this house, you can find it under my ID, kookykitt. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell button to get a notification every time I post a new video. If you want to watch me do stuff like this live, you can find me on my Twitch channel, Krollmeister Sisters. So thank you guys so much for watching, and peace out, y'all.